Hey everyone, welcome back. So, I did a little bit of thinking about the game, and what I realized is that I can suss out the identity of this guy, and the way that I can do that is actually pretty easy. So, I have the scene of the guy playing, he was eating food with Wei Li, and his hammock was partially taken down. What I'm wondering is if I go back to the scene where everyone is sleeping, so I go back to A Bitter Cold, Part 1, if the hammock will be up. And if it is up, then I can reasonably conclude that that guy slept in the same area as Wei Li, and therefore it had to be him. So this is 36. And the reason I thought all this is because I realized that there were a ton of hammocks in this area that I still hadn't actually looked at the numbers for. So this is where... yeah, the game's a little bit loud for my liking. There we are. This is where... this is like the last number that I haven't actually put to any use. So let's see now who 36 corresponds with. So we have Omid for 36. Okay, so this may not be the right area then that I'm thinking of. 42. Let's find Wei Li's hammock again real quick. So Wei Li, he was a top man. He was 41. So if I find hammock number 41, then I ought to find the identity of the other person. So this is 41. 38, 39, 40, 41. So 59. This guy is George Shirley. And the reason I think this is because this guy is hanging around with a lot of people from different cultures. Like, I noticed that he was with Hamadou here, who I guess probably isn't Hamadou, but I realized this guy was one of the only people that is actually seen hanging out with black people on the boat, Chinese people, and he was having food with Wei Li. So I'm going to conclude that this guy, who is George Shirley, is perhaps the nicest sailor to have ever lived. Okay, so I see he was devoured by a terrible beast. Alright, I feel very confident in that result. Now, the other thing is I still need to suss out the fates of Hamadou and Alexander Booth. Now, I can skip some time here and just say, okay, this is obviously not Hamadou, this must be Alexander, and this guy must be Hamadou, which I guess it makes sense, because this guy also looks pretty black to me. So, this guy must be Alexander, then. But, let me see if I can suss that out, not through metagaming, though. So, we know that, the person who is by the boat up here, where he's with the purser, and he's with Lars Linde, and he's with Nathan Peters, we know that... yeah, if we go... let's just go back to this one and, like, reassess that memory real quick. If we go here, this is the scene where we have this guy who, I will... even though this is Alexander, I will just say I don't know who this person is. Alexander saw what happened with Nathan, and he saw what happened with Lars. So, he can be considered an associate of these people. Let's go back to the first scene where we see that happen. And see if I can just suss out who that guy is. Actually, Tell you what. There's an easier way to do this than what I'm thinking of. Let's do the hammocks again. We can assume that if that guy is an associate of Nathan and all of those people, then it's probably extremely likely that he also hammocks up with them. So let's see if I can find Lars's hammock or any of those other people. So we're looking at Samuel Peters. We're looking at 48. If I can find the hammock number 48, then I should be able to suss out who that other guy is. So this is Chinese people and stuff like that. 36. And I can't identify any of these other hammocks. Shoot. 37? Who was 37? Timothy. Lars Linda was 49. 48, 49. And do we have those people identified anywhere? Nope. Okay, so these are the Russian guys. 37, 56, 57, 58. These are the Indian fellows. Alright, so we don't have any hammocks, but we might. There are other hammocks. There are other scenes with the hammocks. There is the. There is the scenes up here where, say, what's his name is pooping. We have hammocks in that scene as well. Let's go check them out. Alright. So we have 43, 44. Who are these guys? Okay, those were Maba and Lewis. How about over here? 48, 49, and 36. 36, 48, and 49. Okay, so we have Nathan Peters and Lars Linda and Omid were all hanging out. 48, 49. Any other hammocks? The poop hammocks? What the hell are the poop hammocks? I do not know what that means. Okay, we've sussed out that guy's identity now. Okay, who are we looking for again? We're trying to suss out the identity of either Hamadou, who's 55, or Alexander Booth, who's 57. Let's look for those. 43, 44. There are poop hammocks in this scene. Where? I must know. I must find the poop hammocks. You cannot let me. Oh. Okay. Yeah. So, by the way, this is Keith who's talking to me right now. What he's saying is that he didn't discover these hammocks in the poop scene, so he was not able to deduce any information about hammocks from this scene in particular. Then that must have meant that finding the identity of George Shirley must have been really, really hard. Okay, so we do have 56 and we do have 57 here. We were trying to suss out the identity of this guy, Alexander Booth, 57. And or Hamadou at 55. And unfortunately for me, I do not see Nathan or Lars Linda's hammocks around here. All right. Well, if that's the case, let's look for other memories. You know, that's all there's to say about it. So we have. I think that there were only 2 scenes that involved hammocks. There's only 2 that I remember anyway. And what scene was I just on? There was the scene up here for the Doom. I don't know if any more hammocks are, you know, visible, but okay, so this is Lars's corpse. Okay, so we aren't able to go down below deck to see any more of the hammocks. All right. Let's see about then. Let's go back to the very first scene in the cargo hold, and I'm going to see if there's a way for me to. Well, I'm not going to be able to get a whole lot of information if I go down here. I know that much. Because not a whole lot actually happens in this scene, unfortunately. There might be some details that I missed, but I kind of doubt that. Let's just see, though. So we have this guy, who I assume is Alexander now. We have Lars up there, we have Samuel Peters, and we have, well, Nathan Peters is somewhere around here. Is this Nathan? Oh. Huh. Both of these guys was nearby. I wonder if I'm supposed to identify this guy by his fancy little neck attire. I'm not entirely sure. But okay, so that was loose cargo. Up next we have a bitter cold, where I've already gone through some of those scenes. Let's see if any of the hammocks have that weird ascot around it. Probably won't, but who knows. So that was this body bag. Alright, we're looking for any sort of indicator of ascot. Nope. Okay, I'm not going to be able to see one. Well, hang on. We had... This is Lars, and, Where were we? This was where Lars and Nathan were sleeping, right? Nathan Peters and Lars Linda. We don't have them there. Because I think... Am I on the wrong deck? No. I just don't have access to that information. Alright. Let's see. Where else could I possibly find information about any of these guys? Of course, I could just actually start going through all the memories I have of those people. Let's go to this this guy. 11 memories. Let's show memories on the deck map. So we have seen loose cargo 1 and 2. We saw him in a bitter cold. After that, we saw him in Unholy Captives. So let's go up to Unholy Captives next and see if I can suss out any information there. We're looking for Unholy Captives Part 2, which I believe is the scene where the cook gets whacked in the face. Yep. Okay. We're looking for... basically just about anyone. Okay, I don't see... Okay, so this is Nathan Peters, right? And then this is John Naples. That's the cook. Those are the two Indian guys. That's the ship steward. I don't know who this is. I think this is Martin, right? That's Philippe Dahl. Alright, I've already guessed the identities of these people. So, where are the guys that I'm interested in? Okay. So, he's working with Lars and... who's this? George Shirley. Alright. And I know that the other guy that I'm trying to suss out the identity of, he was over here holding the, Chiotan in place when they both got speared by the mermaid. So that doesn't really give me a whole lot of information. What's the next memory? So we saw him in Unholy Captives. Saw him in part 1 of Unholy Captives as well. I assume he was just turning this shit around. Okay. We're looking for Soldiers of the Sea next. So Soldiers of the Sea, part 1. Oh, I need to leave this memory first. I kind of wish there was also just a quick, like, leave the memory button as well. Like, just, I don't know, to hit escape and then have some menu that pops up that says, like, do you wish to leave the memory? Yes, no. Do you wish to quit the game? Or what is it? Quit to DOS? Quit, shut down your computer? I don't remember what all the old options were. I don't believe that shut down your computer was one of them. Alright, so we want to find on this deck where I saw this guy. Soldiers of the Sea part 1, that'll take me up. I'm interested in finding this corpse right here. Alright. Ours is over there. Nathan's there. George Shirley. Okay, he's here as well. I wonder if... okay, so this guy's not around. Yeah, so he wouldn't be around because he's not really a part of the Lars Linda clique. So, how then can I possibly determine Alexander? I'm having a really tough time figuring this out. What's part 3? Who's present in part 3? None of the guys I'm interested in. Where's the corpse, though? Maybe we'll be able to figure out anything at all. Maybe there's some hammocks down here in the next part. So he died speared to this wall over there. And I could find that out now. Alright. I don't know if these guys attacked when everyone was asleep or not, but let's go ahead and see if I can find anything of use here. So Lars came... this is Lars, yep. Lars came down, and... let's go back up and see if I can find anybody else around here. So it looks like everyone else just bailed, reasonably so. And Lars came down here by himself. Alright. What's the next scene? Do we even see any of these people again? No. 11 others present. Nobody I'm interested in. I mean, we do have Nathan Peters, but that's not really enough information to go by. In the Doom, we have all of these people. Okay, let's go back. And... where was this? Unholy captives. Right, everyone was working on just lowering the stuff down to the deck. I don't think there's enough information for me to really do anything with that. Yeah, I'm having a really hard time coming up with a conclusive proof that that guy is Alexander Booth. I just can't seem to figure out what I should be looking for. I don't know if I even saw I found Alexander Booth's hammock, but I did not find any I didn't find there was a blanket over it, so I wasn't able to see any details about the person that was sleeping there. So that's unfortunate. And I don't think I'm going to be able to go up. So... oh, I thought for a second he was reaching into his vest to pull out his sketchbook. Like, somebody's dead! Time to draw it! Which would have been pretty... that would have been really, really fucking dedicated to his job as the artist of this boat. Alright, well, unfortunately for me, we don't have any hammocks. They would be up on that deck, and they're not. So... what can we do? What can we do to figure this out? I don't think there were a whole lot of memories on the gun deck, to be totally honest, that would let me see all the hammocks. Let's see. Because I think all the memories that are on the gun deck explicitly are related to the, you know, the deaths of everybody. There were some hammocks at the start of this thing. I guess if I go to the Doom and I go to chapter part 3 here. If I go to this guy's corpse, I might be able to see some hammocks. Just to place them. It's X, we already knew about that one spot. Let's play Lee. It's a little bit funny to me to be walking around without caring about the actual memories themselves anymore, because I'm just walking around and like commentating and thinking out loud while just hearing horrific death sound effects and gargles as I walk over and be like, oh, would you chill out over there? I'm trying to count all of the hammocks. Like, it comes across as, well, I am an insurance adjuster, so I guess I'm just doing my job really, really, really well. Can I potentially get any hammocks off of this guy? As you can see, I am getting rather desperate for any sort of information that I can use to figure this out now. I just don't know. I just don't know. This is like the last guy, and it's really, really tough at this point. I mean, if I go ahead and I go to the end of the book, you know, these three put me right up against the bargain, and I assume that that's where I find out the fates of the last 2 or 3 people, whoever is left. And I don't want to enter it via cheeseballing. Oh, this guy's hammock never went down. That's nice. That's one of the Russian guys. I don't think anyone slept in the cargo hold, so I wouldn't see any hammocks down here with any sort of numbers. But just to be safe... we can sort of walk around this area. So over here in... This is where Alexander was. He was... Or not Alexander. It's a little hard to tell. But I think that if this is the corpse of the Peters guy, then over here was where Alexander is. What's back in this direction? Nothing useful. It's a coiled up length of rope. Ah, man. But all I need is this one identity. And I already have it. I already know it's Alexander. But I just want to prove that it's Alexander. What about... Okay, so we have the bunk beds over here. And... certainly Alexander would not be sleeping in any of those. He would be on the gun deck, just like all the other sea people. But there just aren't that many memories that give us much visibility into the hammocks. There might be one potential more, which is this scene where this guy is getting carried up the steps. Alright. I don't have any extra visibility here. Crap. I mean, I said that this game got a lot easier towards the very end, but then this just gets really, really, really challenging at the very, very end. Because I know it's a little bit almost taunting me, because I do know that if I just quit and just was like, I can't figure this out, I give up, I'm just gonna switch the identities, and I just metagamed it, we would be on. We would be totally done. But I just cannot bring myself to do that. I feel like I like and honor this game far too much to want to be able to do that. So this is where Stewart was before he died. I don't know, maybe I can find the his weird little neck thing hanging around somewhere. I just don't know. I don't think there's any dialogue that anytime anywhere somebody says like, Alex, how you doing, buddy, or anything like that. Roll up, stir underneath the tiller. Hey, no, down below. Nobody have any interest there. Living on a farm, Charlie. Murderer. Senior Nichols. Buck saying loud. We already know all that. Yeah, nobody... I don't see any time where we actually address that guy by name. He talk about a shell. Very dangerous. He talk about a shell. Very dangerous. Alexander Booth is from England. This guy speaks broken English. This guy must be Hamadou. There we are. George Shirley was devoured. All right.